normal snowflake is pointy. Fresh snow, fresh, new, you know, just like you see on the cartoons, you see this nice snowflake, very pointy. When you make snow, it's actually, the artificial snow is rounder. It's not as fine, it's not as coarse. So and when the snow gets old, when the snow is new, it's pointy, and when the snow is old, it gets rounder. So usually new snow and it's cold, you need cold wax, harder wax, so that you can actually, you know, glide over the pointy snowflakes. And then as the snow gets older, you can use warmer wax, right? So, but do you feel it some days if you're on the flats at Trauma and you see people, they're just zooming by you and you're like, yeah, I weigh 130 pounds. You know, and there's a kid going by me and they weigh 100 pounds and they're just gliding by me. You know, wax, well, it's pleasurable to ski on a nice pair of wax skis. But again, here, you know, at Cascade, even on north side right now, the last pitch, it's like Eastern powder, right? That's our Eastern powder. You know, edges are way more important than wax for what we do here. So I'll do a basic wax. We're still. So if you have an old iron at home, in a perfect world, it shouldn't have any holes. If you use one with holes, all it means is that the wax goes in, smokes a little more, and then when you wax the next time, if you wax cold and you wax warm, it mixes together, blah, blah, blah.
And it stains the shirts afterwards.
Yeah, and don't use it. So, just see.
Vern, just as you're looking for this, Monica was asking on the file over there, it says 92. I think that side cuts is actually, the 92 is equivalent to 88, right?
Yeah, it's just a degree.
It's
so
2 degrees from 90s.
Yeah, some companies to be different because, technically, if what angle is, like the file guide, this is 88 degrees, but the file guide to make 88 is 92.
The engineer point of view.
Yeah, so it depends which way you're looking at it. Do you want to know the edge angle or do you want to know the file guide angle? So, like this one, they sell it, it says 88, and the other guys sell it, it says 92. It's 2 degrees, it's the same thing. So we've actually sharpened, and I can see a bunch of metal filings in my base. So first thing is you want to actually clean out your ski before you start, and I was actually looking for, every year I forget some.
Diamond brush.
Yeah, I had a copper brush and so clean it out first. Get all those metal filings out. And this is, you know, you can use toilet paper too. You know, you can actually just pick up, see if there's any dirt. It's pretty, you know, pretty even. It's still pretty dirty. So, you know, wipe or two more, clean it off. And have you ever seen the scouring pads? What are they called? The not SOS, but the flat ones. Scotch-Brite pads. So typically they sell expensive Scotch-Brite pads for skiing, and I actually wanted to bring one because when you actually use that Scotch-Brite pad and you just do one pass with the Scotch-Brite pad, all the little hairs, because it's dry, all get finely removed, and it makes a nice smooth, and it opens up the base pores so the wax comes in easier. So main thing, clean the ski before, because we sharpened, clean the ski before. And remember I told you, like waxing is actually, at World Cup level, it's actually a science. Like there are guys that spend 25 years doing their mixes, and they know snow in the valley of St. Moritz versus the valley in Zermatt right beside, different. This works here, doesn't work here, same temperature, same snow. Like the guys are, then they wax to the top of the course, they wax to the bottom of the course. It's actually a science. I'm lazy. They now make universal wax. I like, this stuff is great. And this is a big block, obviously, very big block. It's really hard. And so far, this is year 1 for me, and Richard, it's actually year 1 for Richard too, using Nanox. And they use a different technology because the way they make other waxes fast is they actually put fluorocarbons in. And if fluorocarbons are not the best things to breathe in, it's bad for you, you get cancer. So they actually learned it from the cross-country skiers because cross-country skiers, gliding is really important, right? And they noticed that the guys were waxing and the guys were getting worse and worse over the season. And then they started wearing masks like this, and they actually, their VO2 max, their oxygen intake was actually getting better because breathing in that hot wax. So this stuff, every wax comes with instructions, but this one's pretty basic. So we have our iron, and there's 2 ways to hold an iron. You can hold it the way it looks like you should, and then the way you really should. Because if I try to put wax on like this, what am I actually, what's going to touch my knuckles? So after you burn your knuckles 4 or 5 times, you actually learn to hold it upside down. Okay? And you only use, you want the wax to drip off the corner of the iron. Take a second or 2. Okay? And you go through here, and because this is a slalom ski, I want to do little slalom turns. Watch the cord. Okay, and as you see, right, you don't actually have to do this, but it's fun. Let it drip off. Okay, and just like if you were consider the base of your ski or the material of the base of your ski like your skin. So it's absorbent. It also can burn. So if I'm talking to you and I leave this here, you can actually melt the base and it'll just unglue from the ski and say bye to your ski. So one is, if your number 1 thing about waxing is you don't want to see it smoking. If your iron is smoking, it's too hot. So you adjust it down a little. So right now I know this wax, they actually tell you, set it to 240 Fahrenheit or 120 Celsius. They actually give you the melting temperature so it doesn't smoke. And this one is done with, I don't even understand the technology, it's nanotechnology. And it's not fluorocarbon that makes it fast, it's the nanotechnology. And so their recommendation is now so first thing I do after I've dripped it on is I actually disperse the wax a little. So little tiny circles, and you'll see here now, the wax is fully dispersed across the base. So first thing, drip it on. Don't drip it on like this, it hurts. Upside down, hold the wax on, 2, and you'll see how many drips, I don't know, 4 or 5 drips per hand, not much. And so now I'm dispersing the wax, and I'm always moving. I don't answer the phone, right? Every story's happened with an iron. Okay, you'll see irons come with feet, so that when you do put it back on the table, you put it on your feet, and you're not putting it down like this and picking up all the metal shavings and all that. So you really try to keep your iron clean. And that's why I wanted to clean the ski before, because I didn't want to get all those metal shavings back into the base. So now it's not perfectly dispersed, but it's not bad. And now your goal is really to do like a 1-inch to 3-inch puddle behind the ski with some pressure. So if you see here, it's wet for 3 inches, 2 inches. And if it's not wet, I have to go slower. And if it's too wet, I have to go faster. So now I'm getting about 1 inch. And you'll see that under the binding, it takes longer because there's a plate on this ski. And then when we get to the tail here, okay. Okay, and now, and it used to always be, when I got taught, it's always tip to tail, waxing. Diamond stoning, you can go back the other way. You go back the other way. So you actually here see that as soon as I got to the binding, a little bit of a puddle. These skis are pretty dry, absorbing almost all the wax. Okay, and like sharpening, you actually want to go all the way to the tip. Get it all. And it takes you probably about 4 or 5 repeats of a nice, see how now there's like a 5-inch puddle here? It's wet for 5 inches. I gotta go a little bit faster because the base is hot. I don't want to overheat it. Now there's like a 1-inch puddle. That's good, that's good, that's good. Okay, so Matthew, you get the $1,000 basis. Come over here. See, same thing. Always moving your feet. Slight pressure. All right. Come over here. All right. And a sharp scraper, a new scraper. And I won't scrape much.
Funny to hold it.
No. This is actually my box from home that I actually do this to. All right. So scraper. I see some people like this, 45-degree angles away from you, and you push. You push.
Excuse me.
You see the color? The black? Part of that is the hairs, because it was so dry, and part of it is dirt coming out of the base. So, it's good. So again, push, 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 push. And we want to do the same thing is, for this I like going in one direction. It doesn't matter, you can go both directions, but I like going to the tail. Doesn't really matter. But this is not scraping. You'll see kids on the side, they got the ski between their legs and they're trying to scrape off the wax. You know, not a big deal. Long scrapes, long, easy. Okay? And part, second step, is now sometimes when you wax, the wax drips over on the edge. You get it? And that's pretty good. You need to, scrapers come with this little notch, and you can actually get some of the wax off the edges. So the first turns you make, there's no wax on the edges.
How much scraping do you do? Like,
So-
I used to scrape till there's no more shaving.
I would say not that much. Like, I generally scrape till I'll do it here. Like, there's areas where I'll scrape a little more, you see here. Once you're getting about this much, that's enough. Because if you scrape more, you're starting to scrape off base. So this wax, the base still looks, with this technology, it still doesn't look that good. So you do the last step. I'll show you that. So for this wax, the last step for any wax, again, is to polish. So now, you get your brush, and then the last wax that you get out with this. So now you've got shinier and that. Or, after brushing for, I have 4 people that ski in the house, plus me, or 3 plus me, my lazy way of brushing. But now, polished buff, not buff, not buff.
Where did you buy the brush?
Those you can also buy at the ski store, but I mean it's you know, it's just fun to use. But it's $100. So every year, add $100 to your kit. That's why I said kit 10. Okay, $100 up. So really, kit 1. The guy who makes, there's 2 companies, Coup Canadian, is a Canadian, this is from Coup. Canadian made, I think he's a Slovenian, or he's a, you know, makes great stuff. You know, it's the Canadian Tire of ski tools. And then you got Sidecut, which is, what's Mark Motors, you know, like a little,
Yeah.
you know, it's, but again, Canadian made, you know, Canadian owned, and they make great stuff. And they're in Whistler, and they came and did a demo here a couple weeks ago. And again, I like, you know, I like an excuse to buy good tools all the time. This will last you 10 years. So, you know, and so will that. But if you're gonna have it for 10 years, you might as well. And these files are fantastic. These are great little files. And so kit 1 is really file guide, file, hardstone, sawstone, and an elastic. And then of course, once you're, after every time you you actually use your file, you should clean it. And I haven't used my files in a long time because I actually bought a machine to tune. You can buy tuning machines, but that's like kit 200, kit 10. So basics for you guys: go to the ski stores, use the machine once a year. Beginning of the year, if you get the skis brand new off the rack, don't need to do it. Just side filing will do it. Side file every 2 to 3 days on snow. We sharpen all the way from tip to tail. And nobody asks, why do we have a soft stone? So after you're done tuning or sharpening from tip to tail, sometimes the tip right now here is not so sharp because it's been dulled a little. And now it's actually here. This is the tip we did. So feel the tip, it's as sharp as this. That means it's really grabby. We want that first 4 to 5 inches to be D2.